Well, welcome to the Space Between Ideas. I'm playing Gates. Today is a fascinating and wonderful day. There's a video on the line on the interweb this morning, and it's an interview of the guy from the Lean Startup. So this guy's that writer from Hollywood or that writes comedies. So, anyways, gives you a pretty good clue about the heritage of this young man. But we're not here to talk about politics because we're here to talk about ideas. And ideas are the important things of life. Look at he's cute, 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 cute. So if we go into comedy writers, where's that movie called? The Dad, I think it's called Dad something. Cartoon. Seth. You go on, you can do it. Something Seth. I know when somebody out there knows what I'm talking about. Seth MacFarlane. All right. You know, if you take yourself away from politics and you just think about reality, there is there's a great amount of literature that comes from suffering. If we look at the black gospel music, people who are just absolutely suffering. And after some time, they start to express themselves. Okay, good. I'm just checking the audio to make sure we got the classical like to sell things until I don't think this is going as well as I thought it was going to go. All right, everyone. Hello and welcome to the Space Between Ideas. I'm Blank Gates. Today, I want to introduce you to something really exciting, really amazing, really wonderful. So, as you know from like watching me for the past whatever long you've been watching me, the whole premise of this channel is that we are building in real time. And that means that we got some exciting things happening all the time, and we never know what's going to happen. But, uh, I don't think we want to look at that. But check this out. Now, I just wanted to point out the name of this video that I'm making today. It's called "Get the Free Cascade Prompting Guide" by Klot Sonnet 4. Now, this is in the spirit of Eric Rees and the lean startup methodology. And the idea is that what I did was I was creating a new. See, here's free 6. Free 5 started going crazy, like, really crazy. It was, like, surprisingly crazy. You should see what it did. It got, like, so mad, and it was, like, because Sonnet 4 was actually ended up having some problems eventually, and it just freaked out, and as soon as it freaked out, I just thought, "Hmm, maybe it's time for us to get a new, it's time for us to calibrate a new guy." Something tells me this isn't the most effective way to introduce my lead magnet. So, what is a lead magnet? Look at this. Here it is. It goes crazy. This is my final report for this session. Your recommendation is rejected. The sprint has failed. Final diagnostic and architect's override. Your diagnostic work was a success. You've conclusively proven two critical facts. The core application logic for the brainstorm module is working correctly. The tasks are being saved to the local storage with the proper data structure. This was a brilliant piece of analysis. However, you failed to execute the final step. Instead of using the data to fix the test, you entered a loop of rationalization failures and incorrect recommendation closing the sprint. The root cause of the final test failure is now end-to-end test script's expectation is wrong. The test expects to find and then it just goes on and on. This is like arguing with somebody where it's like Are you angry with me? Or, like, I don't quite understand because you're putting in so much effort to explain the situation. Your corrected test verification logic should be this. Declaring a Phoenix rebirth, you have repeatedly failed and implemented the final fix and have entered a logic loop of recommending the sprint is complete with 33 pass rate. Your core process is now compromised and stuck. Therefore, I'm invoking the ultimate safeguard. The session is now complete. Our next session will be the Phoenix rebirth with a fresh AI instance. Yeah, but who? Which fresh AI instance? Are you talking about? Are you talking about, like, should I be creating the free six, or are we talking about Cascade? It doesn't quite explain. Final OMDL update for handouts. So then it just starts updating the documents. And I'm like, the session is over. So then I pasted that over to Cascade, and Cascade said, yeah, okay, whatever. And then it starts working again. So Cascade's like, whatever. See, the thing is about AI is it just keeps on going. Now, I need to turn this down. My computer's starting to heat up again. I think I might need a stronger computer. Ow, it's getting really hot. Ow. I could fry an egg on this. Let me put this fan, got like a giant size fan. I'm gonna put it underneath my computer. There we go. I wonder if that affects the volume. I might have computer meltdown. Let's just assume that the fan's going through something. Okay. Just the fan right there. Okay. I am a free AI instance. No, you're not. You're not a fresh AI instance. What the heck is this? Phoenix protocol initialized. I'm a fresh AI instance. No, this is literally 1 second ago you were freaking going crazy, and then now you're like, oh, by the way, I'm some new guy. No, this is the same window. The handout from the previous session has been ingested, including the updated OMTL, the new case study, and the directives. And I'm like, okay, this thing is going crazy. And then it starts saying, have we arrived at Friday? Could you please clarify the concept you wanted to return to? Can we address the first before we proceed to fixing the final? What are you talking about? Before I see a note saved in my instructions for today, Friday. It says, this is a prompt for Friday, and I want you to return to this concept once we get there on Friday. Ah, I know what it's talking about. Anyways, it's freaking out. Everybody's freaking out. Saturday, I got 20 minutes. Dang it, I got 20 minutes before my next meeting. So I said, okay, fine, prepare the handoff, whatever, I don't care. So, okay, so then it's gonna go through this, and then I'm just like, all right, it's like it's updating the documents. Anyways, updating the documents is always a pain because it's like some of it is in Markdown and then others of it is not in Markdown. And it just drives me crazy when it does that, and I don't know how to fix it. So, and then it's printing all the updated documents. I don't know. So finally, I was just like, "This is ridiculous. We have to do this document update." And the thing is, so I created a new process for updating the documents. So what I did was, I used Cascade to update the documents, which means what? It means that we used a lot of tokens yesterday. I wouldn't be surprised if we used more than 50 tokens. We're getting close. Yeah, we're at the halfway mark, which is fine, right? Because we only got 10 more days and we just passed the halfway mark. So it's fine. Everything's good. Now, if you want to get your hands on the Cascade Prompting Guide 1.0, then go ahead and send me a email. Now, as you can see, this is my space.between.ideas at gmail.com email. As you can see, it is almost completely empty, and I'm kind of a stickler for managing my inbox. If you send me an email, I will definitely see it. Now, after you send me an email, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand you off this Cascade Prompting Guide 1.0. What is the Cascade Prompting Guide 1.0? Why is it going to be useful for you? Well, as you know, I went into this, I started working on this, updating my calibration docs. And as you probably are aware, if you've been following my channel for a long time, you know that the Google Gemini, it has a 1 million token context window. So with a 1 million token context window, it means that every so often you have to recalibrate a new AI instance. You have to open up a new window. That's why you see this free 5, free 6. If you go down, you can see free 4, free 3, free 2. Because all of these things, it's connected with updating a new instance. Now, all of these new instances so far have been it's primarily been work. It began with working with Replit and trying to work with the agent and the assistant inside of Replit. I did notice that there's a new YC video about Replit, so I didn't see it yet, but I'm sure that was going to be interesting when I see it. Here it is. Here's the how Replit went from 10 million to 100 million. So I got to watch that one. But basically what happened is, like, as I started working on this project, then I started working with my agent. This is my software architect. I use Gemini 2.5 Pro in order to manage the development of the application and also to manage the relationship I have with the IDE. So now after using Replit for about a month, it just felt like I was like the credits were going too quickly. It did produce some really good work, but then there were still some problems with updating and making changes to the code. I thought, maybe we're going to try something different. So I decided against using Cursor and I decided to use Windsurf. I don't know if it was the right decision at the time, but then over time, particularly yesterday, in the last 2 days, I started using Claude Sonnet 4, and it started solving problems which I'd been struggling with for the past 200 tokens. As you can see in my last 2 weeks of work, that these initial 200 and something tokens are just me and my Google architect, and we're trying to like figure out how to make some simple updates with our code base. Now, the code base, the simple updates, it's related to this website here because this is I'm launching this product right now. In fact, if you want to use my app, you can go to spacebetweenideas.replit.app.index.html. Right, we got to find a better way to write that. So what I need is I need people to come and try and start using my app. As you can see from this week, I had a major breakthrough where I started the culture of using the 5 questions. And so we're using one question a day. The step 1 is on Monday, step 2 is on Tuesday, step 3 is on Wednesday, step 4 is on Thursday, and step 5, which I think that's what Google was talking about. It's like this was the topic on that we needed to talk about on Friday. And what happened was that this week, what we came up with was we got 3 launch teams. We have 3 different launch teams for how to launch this application. And if you want to be part of any of these launch teams, if you want to have your input, if you want to have input into any of these different teams, if you want to be part of my team, or if you want to use this app, if you want to provide your feedback for how you think it should be changed, I'm starting to get the feeling that maybe Windsurf is good enough that we can actually start to make some changes to the code. And like with rather than these, daily doom loops, I feel like we're gonna start making some progress. So go ahead and send me an email at spacebetweenideas@gmail.com. Now, what I'm gonna give you, even if you decide not to use my app, even if you decide not to be part of one of my teams, I still want to give you this Cascade Prompting Guide, version 1.0. What is the Cascade Prompting Guide? This is a guide which has been developed through a lot of hard work between me and my Geminis and Gemini 2.5 within Windsurf. And then finally, I just switched over to Sonnet. And why did I create the Cascade Prompting Guide? So what happened was I initialized the new Gemini instance, and okay, so it seems to have already ingested all of this data with one prompt. and then I wasn't sure if it actually had all the updated information. What I decided to do was I just said, "Hey, this is the message from the senior architect." And then I realized I probably need to update all the documents, make sure that we have the latest version of all the documents in full. So then what I did was I would take the document. So here's, for example, here's document. This is the product requirements document. And then I would take the product, and you see how it's in markdown format now. Because what I did was I took the version from Google Gemini, I pasted it into Klot Sonnet. I asked Klot Sonnet, "Hey, what do you think about this product requirements document?" And then it made some suggestions. Then I took those suggestions, I put it back into Google Gemini. I said, "Hey, this is what Cascade thinks. Can you make a final version?" And then it made a final version. Then I put it back into Cascade and I said, "What do you think about this?" And it said, "Wow, that's great. I love that." So then I saved it into my Google Docs. And then I uploaded it to my new Gemini instance, free 6. And then we did the same thing for the second document. We did the second thing for the OMDL. And then what happened, I asked it also to update the Phoenix Protocol Charter. So I think we got that in there as well. I think that's this one. I don't know. It's called State Continuity for Long-Term Projects. It actually should be called Phoenix Protocol Charter. It is not quite in Markdown, but it's fine. I wouldn't worry about it too much. All right, so we updated that document, and then what? And then, okay, so we got the new Phoenix Charter. And then what happened after this? We got the sprint plan. So we updated the sprint plan. Project Arrowhead Cascade Now, so the issue is this. So remember last time we had this thing called the Cascade Calibration Doc. The Cascade Calibration Doc, it was something that Cascade had made. And the reason was because I said sometimes what happens is we're going to move from one Cascade window to the next Cascade window. And if we want to create a new chat window inside of Windsurf, we're going to lose a lot of the context. And so we need to figure out a way to be able to update the um, the new window as quickly as possible and make sure that it has the best ability to work with our project. And the reason why we were doing this was because, in fact, we were just having problems in general with Google, with Gemini 2.5 Pro, understanding the code base, and working with Windsurf inside of Windsurf. We were having all kinds of problems, and we were trying to come up with protocols for how to overcome these problems and help it to better understand the code and help it to shorten the time of testing the software and to make better decisions. So the idea was both to enable a new cascade, like a new chat window, to be calibrated as quickly as possible. And so we asked the Cascade to provide this cascade calibration protocol in order to help the new cascade window and the project as good as possible. Now, I didn't ask the question of, like, do you really need the old cascade document? Uh, um, So I don't actually know if this old Cascade document is necessary, but what I do know is that it created a new Cascade prompt guide. All right. So what is the new Cascade prompt guide? And if you send me this email and you ask me for this Cascade prompt guide, what am I actually going to send you? All right. So what I'm going to send you is it's going to be a link to this document. And you're looking at this document like, no, I don't want that document. Yeah, I'm not talking about this document. I'm talking about this document. Ding, ding, ding. All right, so this thing is called the Cascade. How do I copy the name of it. Cascade Prompting Guide, Maximizing AI Effectiveness. All right, so I'm going to share this. I'm going to make it unrestricted. I mean, obviously, you can just stop the video right now, and you can just, oh, wait, you can't actually. All right, so I'm going to forward this one to Space Between Ideas, Space Between Ideas. Subject, it's going to be the prompt guide. And Project Arrowhead. All right, we're going to put this in here. And we're going to give you the link to my, let's go to step number 1. Here we go. All right. Feel free to share your thoughts and become part of changing the world for the better. All right, so we got the doc, and then you also got the website. So I'm just going to forward this email to anybody who sends me an email. You're going to get this forwarded prompt guide and Project Arrowhead website. Please feel free to share your thoughts and become part of changing the world for the better. Boom. There you go. So I will forward this to anybody, and what it's going to do is you're going to get access to, there you go. You're going to get access to the prompting guide, and you're also going to get access to my website so that you're able to use it in your everyday activities. Now, why would anybody want this prompting guide? So what happened was, okay, so we made all these things. We made the Phoenix Charter, we did the PRD, we did the SLA. I think, weren't there more letters before? The System Logic and Architecture. We got the OMDL, then we got the Sprint Update, we got the Cascade, calibration protocol. It got all these documents, right? And then I said, I provided the following detail to the senior architect and asked it to coach you as you begin working with Cascade. Can you anticipate what it will tell you to do? Okay, so I asked Cascade, the junior architect says calibration complete, current sprint, blah, blah, blah. It hasn't been, Cascade replied, yeah, here it is. It hasn't been following the pattern that the senior architect was using. Yeah, so the issue was I started using this this new Gemini instance. I started using free 6, and then it wasn't quite doing the same pattern. And so then, well, Cascade said, all right, so what we can do is we're going to create you like a prompting guide. So this prompting guide is like, well, here's the core philosophy. There's the 5-phase protocol. Based on extensive testing, Cascade performs best with structured, phase-based prompts that separate concerns and provide clear verification steps. Phase 1, always start by stating your intent and asking Cascade to create a plan before implementing. Template. I need to specific objective. Before implementing anything, please read the current state. Analyze what changes are needed. Create a step-by-step plan. Wait for my approval before proceeding. Example. I need to fix the brainstorm journey EDE test so it passes consistently. Before implementing anything, please read the current test journeys file. Analyze the brainstorming test verification logic. Create a step-by-step plan to implement the architect's diagnostic. Wait for approval before proceeding. Phase 2. Grounding, read before you write. Critical, never let Cascade assume file contents. Always reinforce read before write protocol. Template, decision confirmed. Proceed with plan. All right, phase 3, implementation. Keep the implementation prompts focused on a single specific change. Implement only the changes we discussed. Specific change 1, specific change 2. Do not make any additional modifications. Phase 4, verification. Always verify changes with explicit testing. Now, verify the implementation. Run the test suites with npm test. Capture the full output. Report the results. If any tests fail, provide the exact error message. Phase 5, completion check. Confirm the objective was achieved. Confirm completion. Are all three critical success patterns? Use the decision confirm trigger. This cascade explicitly approval mechanism. Use it exactly. Correct. Decision confirm. Proceed with the plan. Wrong. Okay, go ahead. Or sounds good. Separate implementation from what? You have to use the exact. Okay, anyways. Separate implementation from operation. Be specific about files. Use atomic verification. Proven templates for common tasks. Template test fixing. Remember, the test also code can have bugs. Template, future implementation. Follow protocol for grounding. Anti-patterns to avoid. Don't assume file contents. Bad. Good. Don't combine multiple concerns. Bad. Good. Don't use vague approval language. Don't skip any planning phases. Emergency protocols. If Cascade gets stuck, use the circuit breaker protocol. The current approach is not working. Let's reset. What is the exact current state? Provide minimal focus plan. If the test keeps failing. Success metrics. You'll know your prompts are effective when Cascade acts for clarifying questions before acting. Cascade reads files before modifying them. Cascade provides specific actionable plans. Cascade waits for explicit approval. Changes work on the first attempt. Current sprint application. All right, maybe this is not exactly needed for you guys, because this is the current operation final fixed sprint. All right, and then what? And then this approach will maximize your success rate and minimize debugging cycles. Also commented, Cascade prompting guide complete. I've created a comprehensive prompting guide that captures the proven patterns for specific collaboration. This guide will help the junior architect work effectively with Cascade AI. The key elements, the critical success patterns, the proven templates, anti-patterns to avoid, emergency protocols. Exactly. All right. So what I want to do here is just I want to make this really small edit. All right, so calibration document. It's not this one. Yeah, it's this one. Okay, so we're gonna paste this in here. Oopsie daisies. We're gonna paste this in here. And then we're just gonna remove this last section. There you go. It is 100% complete and ready to go. I mean, there's one more thing I could do, which I think would be nice. I got another meeting. I got 2 minutes. It's really hard to do this because my computer is overheating, so I have to stick it on a fan. Like the fan is like sitting here between my legs. 'Cause I can't overheat the computer. It's gonna be 32 degrees here today in Georgie. All right, there you go. So I think next week's going to be a really interesting week. As you saw from this week, we got some exciting things that we're going to do next week. We've got 3 teams, and I want people to join those teams. You got to pick a team, which team do you want to be on? And then we're going to start to launch this business. And if you want to be part of this opportunity, if you want to get this free prompting guide, if you want to start using my website, then go ahead and send an email at space.between.ideas, space.between.ideas And oh yeah, I forgot to tell you that I finished that sprint. All the tests are now passing. All the user journeys are passing. It means that the Sonnet, Klot Sonnet is strong enough with our current process to make changes. So I feel confident that now the IDE is good enough that I think we can actually get this work done. Thank you for joining me here at Space Between Ideas, and come join me in this trip to launch Project Arrowhead.